Guys, this is a very exciting video today. You boys officially sponsored by Max Speeding Rods. Ever since I've started drifting, I've been running the same set of Max Speeding rods on both of my drift cars. First the green car and the 318 Ti that's sitting behind me right now. So a little bit over a month ago, I got a random message on Instagram from the sponsorship manager of Max Speeding Rods. And I'm gonna be honest, Jack, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but at first, I kind of thought it was a scam. I guess it just kind of felt a little bit surreal to me at the time that a company was reaching out to me to want to sponsor me, just considering the size of the channel, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel like I'm at a point quite yet where I guess I deserve to be sponsored. But regardless, I got with Max Speeding Rods, verified everything, and everything turned out to be legit. And here we are now, with a new set of coilovers. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this is like the third time I have unboxed these coilovers, just because I had to do promotional stuff for Max Speeding Rods. But here they are. Now, of course, usually there's a lot more packaging in here, but like I said, I've already unboxed these a couple times. But these are nice, strictly because the coilovers that I've been running initially were just their standard coilovers, no dampening adjustment or anything. But these ones have a 24-way adjustable dampening. So I'm super excited about that. I've never had the chance to be able to mess with dampening or anything like that, so I'm really curious to see how the car differs drifting with super stiff shocks versus like super soft shocks. Now, of course, the 318 Ti does not have the engine in it still. The engine is still sitting over here on the stand without a head. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that later in the video, but for now, we're gonna get these coilovers installed. I know I've already done like 2 coilover installs on this channel, but you know, we're gonna make it short, make it sweet, and we're gonna get these things in the Ti. Oh, there we go, come on. Almost there. Hey, there we go. Boom. Let that. Forgot a very important part. I did this when I was dropping the subframe too. I forgot to take off the brake line and the wheel speed sensor and stuff. Beautiful. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, shit. Oh. Nice. Dang, she's pretty rough. Alrighty, well, comparing the 2 coilovers, initially I thought I was gonna have to adjust this a little bit to match that one, but it looks like they're already pretty much the same height. So we're just gonna go ahead and pop that in. Now, should I probably clean up some of this surface rust? Yes. Am I gonna do it right now? No, I don't think so. We'll get to that eventually. We'll do that. Don't worry, we'll take care of you. There we go. Beautiful. And actually, while we're up here, I think I'm just gonna set up the camber now. Now on the old coilovers, I just had the camber maxed out, and that gave me, I wanna say, it was 3.5 degrees of camber on both sides. So we're just gonna do the same thing here, and hopefully it should turn out about the same. Slide that all the way up, and then we'll have to move these back a hole, because the previous holes are now up underneath the plate. Now, like I said, these things have 24-way dampening adjustment, so we can click it all the way to one side, or we can go all 24 clicks over to the other side. I don't remember which way is stiff and which way is hard, so we're kind of just gonna keep it in the middle for now. We're gonna worry about that later. Now I'm bringing things back to the land down under. Oh yeah, like butter. Get the bolt back in. All right, now we'll go ahead and attach these lines back up. Alrighty, and just like that, front is done. All right, now moving on to the rears. I already got the wheel off, but I wanted to show you something. So before, I was running a Godspeed spring in the rear. Just because I wanted to try and get a little more low in the rear, I ended up tossing that in. But this time, I'm gonna be throwing in the Max Speeding Rod spring. I'm gonna add a little bit of preload to it, and hopefully, we'll see how the car is sitting once we get that in. And as you can see, I'm not using the top or the bottom perches just so I can maximize how low the rear will get with this spring. So it shouldn't cause any harm, just a way to get a little extra low. All right, right there, there's just a little bit of wiggle, but that should be enough preload for now. All right, so now we'll go ahead and get this hole lined up. So we'll spin this out a little bit. we'll go ahead and grab the included spanner and we'll torque them down. There we go. And just like that, the rears are installed. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. In those last couple clips, I was feeling like absolute trash. It's a new day, by the way. I've noticed that whenever I go to work on cars, like I just get so engrossed with everything that I just forget to eat, and that just leads to me feeling like trash most of the time. But we're all energized today, and we're ready to get working back on the E36. One thing I do want to note, because I do realize that there are probably at least some people that are watching this where this is probably going to be their first coilover install. One thing to note when you're putting in the front coilovers, you really want to make sure that your camber adjustment is all oriented in the correct way when you go to put in the fronts. Over on the engine side, like the side that points in towards the engine bay, there's going to be very little of the top hat that actually shows on this side. And on this side, there's gonna be a bit meatier portion. So just make sure you have that oriented correctly. And to make sure that you have the coilover actually on the right side of the car, there will be a sway bar end link mount on the coilover itself. I believe this is the mount for an M3 sway bar, so this isn't actually getting used on my car, but it will be going towards the back of the car. Also, another thing I want to note when you go to adjust the height of the front coilover when it's actually installed in the car, you do not want to use these top collars to adjust the height, because these are all used to set preload on the spring itself, and out of the box, that should be fine. So what you're going to want to do is loosen this bottom collar, and then you'll be turning the top portion of the coilover to thread it down into the body, thus shortening the overall length of the coilover and giving you lower ride height. Max speeding rods did give me a little bit of something for you guys though, so if you want to learn about that, wait till the end of the video and I'll give you guys a little bit more information on that. But for now, we're going to move on to the next thing that I want to get taken care of on the E36. So as you can see, I don't have any sound deadening on the firewall whatsoever. And turns out, it should have been expected, but the exhaust where it comes up underneath the car right here, it got really hot and it ended up burning the paint right there. So I went over AutoZone and I got some of this heat protective screen stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to prep up that area down there. I'm gonna get off all the burnt paint, give it a quick coat of paint, and then we're gonna go ahead and slap this stuff on. Oh, I'm getting absolutely dusted. I'm gonna go ahead and hit with a little ISO just to clean up the area at least a little bit. I'm not doing like crazy prep on this. I don't really feel the need to. I just want to make sure that it's pretty much protected from rust. Realistically, it looked like there was still like a good chunk of protection underneath, but it was just ugly and I needed to sand it down, so this is kind of just where we're at. Nice, nice. So while we wait on that to dry down there, I also wanted to go ahead and clean these up and give these a quick coat of paint. These are actually the shock tower reinforcement plates. They usually sit in the back of the car. And as you can see, they've just been bare metal. And this one, it looks really bad, but a lot of this is just surface rust. But still, I'm going to give them a good grind, give them a quick coat of paint, and then we're going to throw them back in the back of the car. Oh no. Did I get it on the hoodie? Oh no. All right, so I just got the second coat of primer up underneath the car, and I also have a second coat of primer up on the reinforcement plates. Now it's time to eat a little bit, because today I'm not gonna forget to eat. I really need to get myself some stuff to like make sandwiches that I can bring with me, because my lunch day is a little whack. I got blueberry bagel, I have some oatmeal cookies, I got a Nutri-Grain bar, and a stack of saltines. Probably not the best lunch, but you know, I think it'll keep me energized. And of course, you can't forget the Fruit Punch Rockstar. I don't really want it to just be primer up underneath the heat shielding once I get it in, so I'm gonna be going over that with some of this Duplicolor Perfect Match. This is actually the same paint that I used to do the front portion of the engine bay, and as you can see, it's a GM color, but it actually matches up fairly well. Like, I believe on camera, you can't even really tell where I actually painted. So like all this up here, that's painted, this is painted, like there's even spots up in like here that are painted, and like it all blends in really well. So we're gonna go over that primer with some of this stuff. Alrighty, so everything's all painted. I've gotta let that dry for a bit before I go to put the heat shielding on. So I figure while we wait, we should go ahead and talk about the current state of the M52. So after that whole ordeal with the other machine shop, I ended up taking my head over to another machine shop that a lot of people recommended to me. And unfortunately, they found that the head is cracked. As you can see on cylinder number 3, the one that had all the coolant in it, you can see right over from the cooling port right over here, there is a little crack. Now, it doesn't seem like it's super significant, but that crack is enough to where once the engine heats up, it'll open up, cause a lot of coolant to get into the cylinder, and thus make me lose compression, which would explain why after I would go like 2 laps over at Spear Peaks, the car would begin to bog down, lose all sorts of power, because I was essentially running on 5 cylinders. I can't thank Johnson's Machine and Performance Shop enough though. Literally, I gave them a call. They said, bring the head in, brought the head in, and I was there for maybe like 2 minutes because I just brought my head in, put it on the counter. One of the dudes came forward. He knew exactly where these heads tend to crack, and he just looked at it and he said, yep, it's cracked. Didn't charge me a thing, let me go on my way. At the end of the day, they didn't do like a whole lot of work for me, but I can tell that those are a bunch of stand-up people over there, and they probably do some really good work. So if you're in like the Thurston County area, Olympia area here in Washington, and you need some machine work done on your engine, go hit them up. They seem like awesome people, and I bet they will be able to take care of all your needs. Since finding out that the head is cracked, I've been searching endlessly to try and find a replacement head for the engine, and I haven't come up with pretty much anything. But I did find something a little bit better. I'm not gonna tell you exactly what it is. You're gonna have to wait until I actually go get it, but I'm pretty excited about it. I got a really good deal on it, and it's actually gonna end up saving me a lot of money in the long run because I believe it honestly came out to be cheaper than me actually finding another head, getting machine work done on that head, and getting everything back together on the current engine. Alrighty, so I've given the paint plenty of time to dry, and here's kind of the plan that I have right now. The sheet that I have, it's folded in half right now, but it's a 12-inch by 24-inch sheet of this stuff. And what I think I'm gonna do is utilize the stock heat shielding bolts around here, and then I'm gonna use these to secure up the heat shielding. Of course, the heat shielding does have like an adhesive backing to it, but you know, I just don't want to run the chance of it like coming off, sitting on the exhaust and causing problems in the future. I want to just make sure it's plenty secured up there. Now, realistically, it would probably help a lot if I had a heat gun right now, but unfortunately, I don't. So we're just going to kind of have to hope that this is some quality adhesive up on this. All right, so I'm probably just going to start from the top down. Of course, I'm already getting the adhesive super freaking dirty. God, this adhesive is actually really good. Holy shit. So I want to kind of try and get this as even as I can and as like clean, I guess. There's a lot of like contours to follow up under this though, so it might be a little tough, but we'll just go little by little and try and get it to form up as good as possible. This is my first time working with anything like this, so it's definitely not going to turn out amazing, but hopefully it'll do its job. See, initially I wanted to get like the tiny roll of like that gold tape, but it was just super expensive. It would have been a hell of a lot easier to work with, I imagine, but just the price of it, like, I don't know, I couldn't really justify it personally. Well, let's get these bolts on and see what we think, I suppose. You know, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not super hot on it. It was hard trying to go through all like the little details and all the bends and contours and stuff. I mean, it's not terrible. I feel like it could have been worse. It's gonna do the job that I needed to do, but I think in the future, I'm probably just gonna try and use the actual tape instead of this fiberglass stuff. Because honestly, fiberglass is just annoying to work with. I don't like fiberglass at all. But at least, like I said, it's protected from the heat now. And I mean, overall, from a distance, it's not bad. Before we end this video off, I do have a couple more announcements. Bringing it back to Max Speeding Rods, I want to give them a huge thank you because along with sending me the coilovers, they were also kind enough to give me my own discount code. So if you guys go over to maxspeedingrods.com and use my code JAMDRIFTS, you will get 10% off your entire order. And that does not just apply to coilovers, that applies to the entire website. So go on over there, see if anything catches your eye, and go pick up some stuff for your next drift build. Second of all, I am very happy to announce my first merch drop. I don't know if you guys have noticed throughout the video, but I've been wearing Jam Drift's hoodie on the back. It's got the compact. This is pretty much the only design that I have so far on the website. I have two variations, small logo, big logo, and then we have them on sweatshirt, long sleeve, and short sleeve. Like I said, it's not a whole lot right now. Pretty simple drop, but if you guys want to support the channel, if you want to support me, I'll put the link to my Shopify down in the description. No pressure to go get anything. It's just there because a lot of people were bugging me for a very long time to get some merch out. And finally, we got the merch. But I think that is going to do it for this video, guys. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one.